Hello, welcome to Just a Darn Good Story. So I received an email by a gentleman named Jeff who asked me if I had any information about the Dover demon, the Rake, and the crawler. And if I didn't have that information, could I possibly look into it for him? He said he was curious to know if they were linked. And to be honest, I'd never really had an interest in any of the three, but I started looking into it, and you all might just be surprised about what I found out. So, on with the story. Imagine being in the quiet suburb outside of Boston in the spring of 1977, Dover, Massachusetts. Rolling hills, thick woods, old stone walls lining the back roads. The kind of place where nothing much happens. Kids drive around at night because there's nowhere else to go. Parents leave doors unlocked. But for about 25 hours in April, something impossible showed up. Something small, hairless, with a head like a watermelon, and eyes that glowed like orange coals. It didn't attack. It didn't speak. It just watched. And then it was gone forever. Or was it? There were no photos or no tracks, just three separate teenagers who saw the same thing and drew pictures that matched too closely to ignore. They called this the Dover Demon, one of the strangest monster mysteries ever reported. And let's go back to those two nights. It was April 21st, 1977, around 10:30 p.m., 17-year-old Bill Bartlett is driving his Volkswagen down Farm Street with two friends, Mike Mazoka and Andy Brody. It's dark, no streetlights, just headlights cutting through the woods. Bill spots something on a low, broken stone wall to his left. At first, he thinks it's a cat, or maybe a dog, but as its headlights hit full on, his stomach drops. It's perched there, motionless, about 3.5 feet to 4 feet tall. No fur, no clothes, skin rough and peach-colored, like wet sandpaper. A huge bulbous head, shaped like a watermelon or maybe an egg. Way too big for its spindly body. It had long, thin arms and legs, ending in tendril-like fingers curled around rocks. No nose and no mouth, and the eyes glowing bright orange, like two shiny marbles reflecting the headlights. Lidless, staring right at the car. The creature turned its head slowly towards them. No fear, no aggression, just watching. Bill freezes. The car keeps moving. In seconds, it's gone. The thing drops down and disappears into the shadows. His friends missed it. They were talking, not looking. Bill pulls over. His heart's pounding. Oh my gosh, did you see that? Of course, they didn't. When he gets home, he's shaking. He tells his dad. Then he grabs a paper and he draws it immediately. Every detail. On the sketch, he writes, I, Bill Bartlett, swear on a stack of Bibles that I saw this creature. He wasn't joking. He still stands by it decades later. About 2 hours later, it's now midnight. 15-year-old John Baxter is walking home from his girlfriend Kathy Cronin's house on Miller Hill Road. It's a quiet, wooded stretch. He sees a small figure coming towards him in the dark. At first, he thinks it's a neighbor kid, someone short with a big head, due to a medical condition. He calls out. There's no answer. As they get closer, maybe 15 feet apart, John realizes it's not human. Too small, just wrong. The figure stops and John stops. Then it bolts, scurrying left, down a shallow gully into the woods. John was curious, maybe a little brave. He follows. He hears dry leaves crunching under whatever it is. He stops at the edge of the gully and looks across. There it is, silhouetted against the night sky, about 30 feet away, standing next to a tree. One long arm gripping the trunk. Feet wrapped around a rock like they're molded to it. The head is massive, figure 8 shaped in the dark. 2 glowing spots for eyes, staring straight back at him. John feels a chill. This isn't an animal. This isn't a person. This is something else. He backed away slowly. His heart was racing. Then he runs to the road and hitches a ride home. The next day, he draws his own sketch. It matches Bill's almost exactly. Same proportions, same eerie pose. The following night, April 22nd, 1977, 15-year-old Abby Brabham is riding with her boyfriend, 18-year-old Will Tainter. They're driving near Springdale Avenue, close to a small bridge. Headlights catch something in the road. At first, they think it's a naked kid. Short, pale, but no. It's the same thing. Perched there, staring, with its huge head and its thin body, its glowing eyes. Abby and Will say green this time, while the others said orange. Maybe light, maybe reflection. Long limbs, no features on the face. It doesn't move towards them. It just watches as they drive by. Then it's gone. Abby draws her version too. Again, the same creature, independent sightings. No one knew the other stories yet. 3 teens, 3 drawings, 1 straight-line path across 2 miles of Dover's back roads, over just 25 hours. Then, silence. No more reports, ever. These sightings stayed quiet at first, but word spread in town. By early May, they hit the papers. Cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman, who literally coined the name Dover Demon because it had that eerie ring, got involved fast. He interviewed the witnesses, checked their credibility. They were normal kids, no history of pranks, no motive to lie. Their sketches lined up without them comparing notes. The police chief called them reliable. Even years later, in interviews, Bill Bartlett stood firm. "I know what I saw," he said. Coleman rated the case high for consistency. No UFO reports, no physical evidence, no tracks, no hair, nothing. Just those eyes staring back from the dark. So what was it? Some say misidentification, a great horned owl, vague reflective eyes, but the body doesn't match. A baby moose, awkward legs, big head, but in April? No hair, no antlers. The locals say no moose around then. A foal or a lost exotic pet? Nothing fits perfectly. Others go wilder. An alien scout? Quick visit, no contact, gone. Something interdimensional? Slipping through for a moment? A government experiment? A hoax by coordinated teens? But the witnesses never wavered, and they didn't even know each other well. No folklore predates it. No sightings since. It's a one-off, a glitch in reality that lasted 2 nights, and then the door closed. Or did it? Almost 50 years later, Dover still talks about it. Those stone walls that are still there. The roads haven't changed much. What if it comes back? What if it's still out there in the woods, watching the cars go by? Then, fast forward to the 2000s. Someone makes a creepypasta about a creature they call the Rake. The Rake is described as hairless or nearly hairless, pale grayish skin, emaciated, almost skeletal, crawls on all fours but can stand up straight, has large reflective eyes. It's usually silent but can make clicking or rasping sounds. It's seen near homes or woods. Does that sound familiar? Maybe the grown-up version can cause sleep disturbances. Whoops, did I say that? Is it possible? Could it possibly be a grown-up version of the Dover demon? I guess anything's possible at this point, right? During the 2000s, there were explosions of stories coming out about this creature called the Rake. People would wake up at night, see a pale, thin figure crouched at the foot of their bed. It doesn't attack them, it just watches. Then it just vanishes when lights are turned on or a person screams. A popular story about the Rake comes to mind. No one noticed anything unusual about the house at first. It sat at the edge of a quiet neighborhood where the last row of homes gave way to a thin line of trees and an old drainage path that led to the deeper woods. The kind of place where parents chose because it felt safe, quiet, predictable. The boy who lived there was 11 years old. He slept with his door cracked open, a habit he'd had since he was small. A sliver of hallway light always spilled across the carpet and touched the edge of his bed. His parents thought nothing of it. Plenty of children sleep that way. Nothing had ever happened before. The first night it happened, there was no sound. No creaking floorboard, no scrape against the wall, no whisper of breath. At 2:17 a.m., the boy woke up. Later, his parents would say he'd probably been coming out of a dream. That children often wake up suddenly for no reason. That the mind plays tricks in the dark. But the boy didn't wake confused. He was alert. His eyes opened, and he stared straight ahead. His body still heavy with sleep, but his awareness was sharp, in a way that it shouldn't have been. But his room felt different. Not cold, not hot, just heavy. At the foot of his bed, something was crouched. It took his mind several seconds to understand what he was looking at. At first, it looked like a shape where a shape didn't belong, a shadow that didn't match the room. But the longer it stared, the more details pressed forward. It was thin, unnaturally thin. The limbs were long, its joints angled wrong, its posture low and compact, like something trying to stay beneath the line that it knew it wasn't supposed to cross. Its skin was pale, not the color of paper, not the color of illness, but that flat, muted tone of something that hadn't been exposed to light for a very long time. There was no hair, no clothing, nothing that explained what it was supposed to be. But the boy couldn't move. His arms felt pinned, his legs were numb, his breath came shallow and quiet, not because he was trying to be silent, but because his body didn't seem to remember how to do anything else. And then he saw its face. The head was large, too large, perched atop a narrow neck. Its eyes reflected the dim hallway light, catching it the way an animal's eyes sometimes do on the side of the road. They were open, unblinking, focused directly on him. It wasn't aggressive, it wasn't threatening, it was just watching. Minutes passed, or maybe seconds. Time didn't behave properly in that room. The thing didn't advance, it didn't retreat, it didn't shift its weight. It remained perfectly still, as if movement would somehow break whatever fragile balance existed between them. The boy's heart hammered so loudly. He certainly could hear it. And then slowly the creature tilted its head, just slightly. The movement was careful, controlled, almost thoughtful, as if it was adjusting its view. That was when the boy's foot twitched. not on purpose, not as a conscious act, just a small reflex, a tiny movement that broke the stillness. The thing reacted instantly. It lowered itself from the bed's edge to the floor without making a sound. Its limbs folded and unfolded with a fluid motion that didn't match human anatomy. Its hands, if they were hands, pressed flat against the carpet, and it began to move, not upright, not crawling the way a person would. It was low, fast, and silent. In 2 seconds, it crossed the room and reached the doorway. It paused there, half in the hallway and half in the room. It turned its head once more and looked at the boy. Then it slipped into the darkness beyond the doorframe and was gone. The scream came after. Lights flooded the house. Doors opened, footsteps thundered down the hall. His parents rushed in and found him shaken, wide-eyed and pointing at nothing. They searched the house, every room, every door, every window. Nothing. No footprints, no marks, no sign of anything having been there at all. They told him it had been a nightmare. He didn't argue, but he didn't sleep. Weeks passed and then months. The boy stopped sleeping with the door open. He insisted on nightlights, on closed blinds, on checking the hallway twice before bed. His parents chalked it up to anxiety, just a phase, until the second sighting. This time it didn't enter the room. It stood in the doorway. The boy woke the same way he had before, abruptly, fully alert, and saw it standing just inside the hallway, its body angled sideways to fit beneath the frame. It was taller than he'd realized. Its arms hung low, too low. Its shoulders were narrow. Its chest was rising and falling slowly, in a steady, measured rhythm. Breathing. It didn't step forward. It didn't retreat. It simply stood there watching him, as though confirming something. Then the boy screamed. The sound broke the moment. The hall light snapped on. The doorway was empty. That was the last time it appeared in the house. The family moved 2 years later. The boy grew older. Life layered itself over the memory, dulling the sharpest edges, but never erasing it completely. Years afterwards, as an adult, he would read stories online, descriptions written by strangers in different towns, different countries, all describing the same thing. A pale figure, long limbs, watching from the foot of the bed, standing silently in the doorways, leaving the moment it was noticed. Different name, same behavior. What unsettles people most about stories like this? Not the fear, it's the restraint. Because whatever it was, it never attacked. It never chased, never made itself fully known. It only observed. An observation implies purpose. Some things don't want to be seen clearly. Some things only need to be seen once. And some things, once they realize they're there, never come close again. And to most people, that's a relief. And just when you think you've heard all you need to know about the Dover demon and the Rake, researchers have found what they believe to be the missing link. A new entity that they are calling the Crawler. Apparently, the Crawler is known worldwide. It too is a pale, hairless humanoid with long limbs. It too is seen in forests, caves, abandoned places. It's often silent, and it's often watching rather than attacking. When you place the Dover demon at one end of the timeline, the Rake in the middle, and then, recently, the Crawler, these reports are very similar and continuous. So that's it for today's episode. I hope you were able to learn something. I know that I did. And I thank you, Jeff, for taking the time to send us that email. I'll be honest, I would never have ever read up on the Rake, the Dover Demon, or the Crawler. I hope you guys all learned something as well, or at the very least, giving you something to think about as you fall asleep. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.